creating an imaginary picture. Usually it's something that...
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we will be reviewing the book The Republic by Plato. So let's dive into it. The Republic engages readers with its exploration of justice, politics, and the ideal state. Written as a dialogue primarily featuring Socrates, it questions about the nature of justice, the role of the individual within the society, and the pursuit of the good life. It talks about how the desire for power not only corrupts but even destroys, how people in their never-ending pursuit of power undermine their psychological health. Now, this is a prime example in how politics, our leaders become corrupted after gaining some power. That is why, Spider-Man's uncle said that with great power comes great responsibility, because it's very easy for the power to corrupt your mind. The political view of Plato rises from the history of Athens, the greatest democracy in the ancient Greek. The Athenian democracy lost to the oligarchy Sparta, and in the aftermath, the restored democracy executed Plato's teacher Socrates. This terrible train of events led Plato to conclude that neither democracy nor oligarchy nor any other existing order could achieve happiness or political stability for its citizens, because all of them were founded on the inherently corrupting desire for power. According to Glaucon and Erymanthus, with whom Socrates is conversing, democracy is unstable. They state that if a person is given an invisibility ring, they would rush to fulfill their desires. The ring holder will become a tyrant with the power in hand. The determining of whether stealing is good or bad depends upon the threat of being caught and not upon whether the person is good. This scenario has been taken from the story Ring of Gyges, in which a common person gets hold of the king's invisibility ring, with the usage of which he assassinates the king and becomes king himself. However, at the end of it, he brings his own downfall. Socrates showed that the unjust person in the story, which is Gyges, is not supremely happy but actually supremely unhappy at the end. It did not benefit him as it destroyed his soul. According to him, justice was to do good to one's friend if he is good, and to harm one's enemy if he is evil. However, the question arises that if you harm another person, even if you're punishing another person, you are just going to make him more unjust. So where does the cycle end? Part 3 talks about education. Now, according to Socrates, education begins with the fiction stories that are told to children. We must start to educate the mind before training the body, because opinions formed at that young age are difficult to eradicate. Therefore, it is important to ensure that the first stories they hear should aim at encouraging the highest excellence of character. Now, this again highlights that how even in today's time, storytelling to children play an integral role in each and every culture. The Republic further talks about guardians. Now, there's a particular quote of Socrates that says that it would be the most dreadful disgrace for a shepherd to keep sheepdogs so badly bred and trained that disobedience or hunger or some bad trait or other led them to worry the sheep and behave more like wolves than dogs. Now, this clearly states that how we need to make sure that our soldiers and our police officers are kept well, that they're given proper salaries and treated well so that they do not turn against their own citizens. However, we clearly see that there is corruption among the police officers whom we trust so much, and that poses a great deal of threat to the democracy of a nation. Plato further talks about women and the family. Now, this was my favorite take from this book. It clearly states that the only difference between men and women is one of physical function. Therefore, they should follow the same range of occupation and perform the same function, though it does recognize that men will perform some of them better. It does highlight that both men and women should receive the same education. It is only through this approach that society will get the best value from both. Now, when I read this, I was like, even back then, this is so many years ago, right? And back then, the mindset of Plato was so forward, I can say, or either I can say that, our mindset went retrograde काफी ज़्यादा. So I'm highly impressed with what Plato has written. Plato in his book further describes 4 types of imperfect society. First is timarchy. Now, while describing this society, Plato has Sparta in mind and focuses on military aristocracy. It admires the tricks and strategies or skills which are needed in war. Such a society has ambition and competitive spirit. However, the members of this society fall prey to inner uncertainty and conflict. Second is oligarchy. Now, it is a society in which wealth is the criterion of merit and the wealthy are in control. The transition from trimarchy to oligarchy happens when the accumulation of wealth in private hands take place. The third type is democracy, where everyone is equal before the law and everyone has freedom to do whatever they want as long as it's within the limits of the law. Lastly, there is tyranny, in which the ruler or the leader continues to start up war in order that the people may continue to need a leader. As I move towards concluding this review, I would like to say that Plato's writing style, though sometimes dense, is thought-provoking and rich with dialectical method. His dialogues encourage readers to engage critically with the ideas presented, making it a timeless philosophical work that remains relevant in contemporary discussions of ethics and governance. The purpose of the whole argument has been to show that goodness is its own reward, irrespective of consequence, although it can be hard to believe. It says that if you've done good to someone, it will come back to you tenfold, and same goes for the bad thing. Basically, it reinforces the concept of karma that we believe in. Overall, I would like to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Reason being, philosophical books are not everyone's cup of tea, neither mine, I guess. However, I did get to learn something from it, and I guess that is a good thing. Plato's The Republic stands as one of the most significant works in Western philosophy, yet it is not without its shortcomings. While the dialogue offers profound insight into justice, governance, and the ideal state, it also raises critical questions regarding its feasibility and underlying assumption. Now that was my review for the book The Republic. I hope it was useful. Until the next video, keep reading and keep dreaming.